If you're playing Spider-Man on PS4, or even if you're just kind of hanging around the internet, you know this game is chock full of awesome secrets, Easter eggs, and references of all kinds. There are tons of other videos out there, so for this video, we just wanted to pick 10 of our favorites from the game. These are some secrets, Easter eggs, and references we think you need to see. Now, keep in mind, there are going to be some mild spoilers. But let's get started off with number 10. Surprisingly enough, this wasn't added as one of the game's many landmarks, but if you swing around the Upper East Side of Manhattan, you can come across the Insomniac Games studio. Even though Insomniac is technically California-based, it's cool to see them just drop it in here. If you listen to crime reports on the radio in the area, apparently you can even hear reports of a crime in progress and they say, near Insomniac. That's a really nice touch. Also, an ever-watchful Reddit user also uncovered another Insomniac Easter egg in an early cutscene where a cop's radio is branded with the Insomniac logo. Super small, but the detail's there and it's worth checking out. Next at number 9, the Wall Street Bull is an icon for New York's financial district. It's been featured in countless movies, comics, and games in the past. That said, the bull itself doesn't make an appearance in Spider-Man's version of Manhattan, but that doesn't mean there's nothing there. In its stead is a similar style statue, and it's actually Lockjaw, the big beautiful bulldog from Marvel's Inhumans. I mean, yeah, we can technically talk about that Inhumans show that was kind of bad and was immediately canceled, but we're talking about the real Inhumans, and Lockjaw is awesome. And at number 8, Marvel's Spider-Man models a ton of really accurate, very real looking New York landmarks, and it's really easy to be taken aback by the scale of it all and not look at the smaller aspects. Like take Radio City Music Hall for example. It's a very good recreation of it, no doubt, but if you look closer at the venue's marquee, you'll see that the advertised act is for The Quarks featuring DJ RC. Now, followers of Insomniac's work know that the Quarks is an obvious reference to Captain Quark from Ratchet & Clank. We love that dude. Whereas DJ RC can be assumed that it's referencing Ratchet and Clank respectively. Pretty neat, huh? I mean, it's something that you would totally miss if you weren't looking for it. But moving on to number 7, at the northwest tip of Manhattan in the game's Harlem region, which is kind of Harlem but doesn't really make sense where it's oriented, you can find a church with a rather sizable graveyard, and if you look around the graves, you can find a gravestone for Uncle Ben. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. That guy. I don't really know what else to say about this other than that it's nice to see a solid, respectable nod to Spider-Man's origin. They very well could have just copy and pasted a graveyard, but instead they went the extra mile, and it's nice to see. Over at number 6, we have to acknowledge that incredible intro that kicks off the game. It's filled with a lot of little references. In that intro, when Peter is in his apartment, you can see a ton of little small nods and references to Spider-Man's history in the greater Marvel canon. But one of the more interesting ones is a throwaway that references one of Marvel Universe's other smart boys. You can see on some post-its that Peter has left notes to set up meetings with TS and RR. These are of course in reference to Tony Stark, or Iron Man, and Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. It's a small and minor thing, but it's super cool to see the little details that make their way into such a big game and presumably a bigger universe. Now at number 5, during a mid-game side quest involving the hunt for someone blackmailing a woman's boyfriend into doing some shady business, you're led on this wild goose chase around the city, doing some detective work and photographing the suspects as they do shady back alley meetings. Eventually, this side quest leads you to a group of men meeting inside of a building interior, and from the outside you can hear them planning. One man refers to the other man as Roman, and if you have the subtitles on, the person saying that is named Nico. This is an awesome small nod to the main characters of Grand Theft Auto 4, aka the best Grand Theft Auto game, and we just wanted to point that out. We're always happy to see that game get some love, even so many years after it's released. Now coming down to number 4, at about 30% into the game, Spider-Man's quest leads him to infiltrating a college campus Halloween party. It's a long story, but along the way you get to see tons of awesome costumes referencing classic Electro, a bunch of crappy Spider-Man, but most importantly, shirtless Spider-Man. Look at this dude. This is actually a direct reference to Kinda Funny's Greg Miller pioneering the shirtless Spider-Man on social media. The awesome Kinda Funny community ran with it and blew it up, and Insomniac almost had no choice but to reference him in the game. I mean, just look at this dude. But coming down to number 3, Spider-Man PS4 has probably the most unfortunate Easter egg ever, or at least the saddest one we've ever seen. Months ago, a really hyped player took to Twitter to ask Insomniac for help for a clever in-game way of proposing to his then-girlfriend. Insomniac obliged and acknowledged him, and lo and behold, when the game released, there's this here movie theater marquee that says, "Madison, will you marry me?" Well, unfortunately, according to that player, now that the game is out, they actually had a breakup before the release. Apparently, she left him for someone else. Yeah, it's bad. Insomniac offered to change it, but so far the dude said he just hopes that someone else can use it in the game to get married, which is really nice and sweet if you think about it, but it's also really freaking tragic. Now at number 2, there are so many locations in this game, it's insane. The map is riddled with a bunch of buildings referencing stuff from the Marvel Universe. So instead of breaking down every single one, we do want to point out our favorites. Us personally here in the office, these are the ones we think you should check out. First, there's Josie's Bar, Alias Investigations, and Nelson and Murdoch Attorneys at Law, all located in the awesome section of Hell's Kitchen. Then there's also Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum in the Village, as well as what I thought was really cool, the Wakandan Embassy in Midtown. If you head up north on 5th Avenue, you can find the Rand Corporation building, and a nice nod to Damage Control with their own building. Obviously, there are a lot more locations, some more obvious. We wanted to point out our subtle favorites, and we're looking forward to hearing what you guys got down in the comments. But coming down to number 1, they did it. Those bastards have done it. I can't believe they did it. The pizza delivery theme music from Spider-Man 2, which has since become a meme, is actually in the game. Just bravo, guys. Good job. Super subtle. Apparently, it's more than one pizza shop that you can hear it at, but one of the first areas was discovered by L Warrior 91 at a pizza place location in Little Italy. If you loiter around outside the pizza place, you can very faintly hear the theme coming from the inside. I have nothing to add. No good joke, no meme, just my respect. As a huge fan of all that bullshit, I really appreciate this. But those are our favorite Easter egg secrets and references from Spider-Man PS4, our personal favorites that we wanted to point out that we really just think you guys should see. But of course, there are tons more, so we want to hear from you guys down in the comments. What's some of your favorite stuff you've stumbled across in the game? Maybe there's still stuff out there that's yet to be discovered. Whatever you think about Spider-Man PS4 or what you found, we want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video and maybe learned a thing or two, clicking the like button really helps us out and we appreciate it. But if you're new, you should consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.